NASA has postponed the Artemis II and Artemis III missions until 2026 and 2027, respectively, due to the excessive and uneven wearing of the ablative heat shield on the Orion crew capsule during the unmanned Artemis I mission. The Space Launch System, SLS, has a history of cost overruns despite using old space shuttle parts, such as the RS-25 rocket engines and solid rocket boosters. But unlike the space shuttle, there will be no reusability with SLS, and the parts will crash into the ocean and be lost. The SLS is the only human-rated rocket capable of sending the Orion capsule to the moon, with it producing 8.8 million pounds of thrust in its current Block 1 configuration for a moon launch. However, the SLS costs an astounding $2.6 billion per launch and an additional $1.5 billion for the remaining mission, totaling $4.1 billion per Artemis mission. The other equivalent booster to SLS is the SpaceX Starship and Super Heavy booster, which creates 17 million pounds of thrust in the current configuration, and will eventually cost $10 million per launch. The projected savings largely stem from the reusability of both the SpaceX Starship and Super Heavy booster, in contrast to the SLS, which lacks reusability and only partial reusability of the Orion capsule atop the SLS. The incoming Trump administration is expected to make large federal budget cuts, with SpaceX's and Tesla's Elon Musk making recommendations on areas to cut the federal budget, and NASA is not expected to be excluded. If SLS is scrapped due to its cost, the US could still beat the Chinese to the moon if that is the national priority, but would also have significant development costs due to the sunk cost of SLS. However, there are potential commercial options such as SpaceX's Falcon Heavy and Blue Origin's New Glenn, which are not rated for human spaceflight and would need to be heavily modified to support the Orion spacecraft to repurpose some of the Artemis hardware. The decision between the SLS and commercial company options will be crucial to determine the future of NASA's lunar missions.